What's up? What's up? What's up? It's Monday. Can you believe it? We're back again. It's like
It's
we never left. And we had a
Monday.
nice long weekend to boot. So it's Monday, it's Motivation Monday. You know how we do. Our normal co-host T, he's on location taking care of some other business. So I have the pleasure of having one of my other beautiful co-hosts and somebody who I admire and is doing her thing and blazing her own trail. The queen of
Thank you.
LGL Real Talk, Be Love, is sitting in today and co-hosting with me today on Motivational Monday. So let me just take a quick second and ask Be Love, how are you? How have you been? How was your holiday weekend? What's going on with you? How are
Hey
you?
there, King Amir. Thank you so much. Happy Motivation Monday. Hi, Alfreda. How are you? Um, I am great. I'm so blessed. I had a great Thanksgiving. It was so laid back. I had all this intention of cooking and wound up making some mac and cheese that my son was less than impressed with. And it was just one of those
It,
when you don't cook with love, it matters. I didn't
hey,
really want to do it.
it's real talk. Real
It's
talk.
real talk. It's real talk. But everything was amazing. It's been an amazing weekend. You know me, I'm always looking for the, ups and being grateful. So that's where I am. How are you, King Amir?
I am doing wonderful. So here's what happened. Now, we know it was a long weekend. Tal and I talked and touched on a bit of the holiday season, but this weekend that just passed, one of
Mm-hmm.
my favorite holidays of all time passed, and that's Thanksgiving. For those who want to take the biblical sense of it or the other sense of it, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the one day out the year where you really, hopefully, truly get to sit around family and or friends and just really enjoy each other's company, presence, and just soak in that love. Like,
Yeah.
I think one of the things that we don't do enough of now, I mean, we've actually had the chance to do it much more so, obviously, with everything that's going on in the world, is that ability to soak in love. So this year, like most years, as of late, my sister did our Thanksgiving and she invited us all over to her crib. Now, my sister's making the beautiful transition from being crazy like the rest of us to vegan. So she had a couple of vegan dishes that were off
God
the
bless her.
chain. And I had to give her props because the vegan mac and cheese was on point. She had these things that look like fish cakes, but they were actually squash, and they were on point. I mean, she
Okay.
really did her thing with these new things that she introduced to the family for Thanksgiving. But we had an absolutely phenomenal time. But here was the best part of Thanksgiving for me.
Hmm.
So my niece and my nephew, my niece is in college. My nephew's, I think, a junior in high school, something like that. But he's 15. She's 20 or 21.
Okay.
And the one cool thing to me, and this was motivating for me, and this is why I bring this up, was to see the next generation and where they are mentally. Now,
Right.
I don't know if you
Right.
had the opportunity to do something along those lines with, being around your, children and the grands and everything. And I'm not sure, if, the grands are that, big enough yet. But it's amazing to watch the next generation and to listen to them. So my family is a big talking family, meaning we sit around and everything is really one of those things where we talk about life. We talk about stuff that's going on in the world. But what happened was my sister introduced this game called Table Talk. And if anyone are not familiar with it, it's this game that you read the question and then you go around the room and everybody has to answer the question. But it
Right.
has really dope questions like what's more important, achievements or your character? And
Right.
it's just interesting because now you're going around the room and you have varying ages and varying experiences, and to hear my niece and nephew give their answers, I was sitting there like, yo, the family's all right, we're gonna be okay, this the next
Okay.
generation, they on deck next. But it was motivating to
It's
me
one or two.
because I was thinking to myself, like, when I was 15, I don't know if I was that composed as my nephew was. I mean, he was
Right.
really giving, I was sitting there like this.
Right.
He's part of the family. Oh,
Yes.
all right, So
Yes.
I don't know if like I said, you getting together with your children and getting together with family. If you found that being around them gave you that sort of perspective or, something similar, like I said, which I think was very motivating and allowed me to really be excited about what it is we were doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I just,
Right.
I don't know. Like I said, how was your gathering? Because I know you said they already didn't like the mac and cheese. So, we'll give you a pass on that. Because if you don't cook with love, it definitely shows up. You can't lie
It
about
definitely shows. Yeah. And I want to expound upon this top point because we've talked about this before. We've talked about the holidays on the ear menage. I've talked about it from a commercialism, perspective. And I try to take the opportunity to spend as much time with my, family as much as I can. Especially my boys, because they just give me a very different perspective. And even when we were talking a few weeks ago, Amir and I were texting, and he misinterpreted a word. So he was like, "Well, is this some new word that is part of the new lingo?" And I'm like, "No." He's like, your kids put you on it," and I'm like, "My kids don't speak ghetto. I'm the ghetto one in my house." Like, I'm the one who's like son and kid, and my kids are so, and that's what makes it so dope. So number one, to respond to you is I try to take the opportunity to enjoy it every time that I'm in their presence, because we talk about how life is not promised, and it really isn't promised. You know what I'm saying? And when I think about being a young mom and working a lot, because I've always worked, and not being able to be there at times, whether it was a play or a little league game or something that I had to miss to make sure that they were okay. So today, when I get to sit down and chop it up with them, I find it hysterical, because first of all, we always go to my oldest son, but the middle kid, he's always the victim. We straight heating on this kid from the time we walk through the door. We call him Squidward, because his whole demeanor is just like, what? Like, okay, like, who cares? I'm like,
it.
so it's crazy to see, because I'm like, don't you care about it? But at the end of the day, he's wonderful in his own little traits, you know what I mean? And so being able to sit down from the table with them, even for the dinner, he was like, "This is it? Like, where's the rest of the food?" I'm like, "Listen, shorty, this is what we've got." Oh
Yeah.
my God, did I
No.
lose you, Amir?
No, no. You still here. I can hear you.
Uh-oh.
I can hear you, B. You good. B might be experiencing some technical difficulties. Can you hear me, B? B, can you hear me? I
Where are
think
you
B.
guys? Here we go.
We hear you. You hear, B? We hear you.
Amir, where'd you go?
I don't know. I'm still here with you. Come on back. Well, while B is experiencing technical difficulties, I just wanted to say that, I hope, again, most of you had an opportunity to spend time with your families. I know this is also a, pretty tough time for some of us as well. For those of us who have lost loved ones, please understand that this isn't the time, to me, to be so caught up in the misery of losing loved ones. I think this is a time to also celebrate and cherish them as well. And especially if you have Thanksgivings and certain things under your belt already, because one of the things that I know is you can easily get lost in being depressed. You can easily get lost in being upset and or frustrated by what life is giving you, or you can use it as motivation to say, you know what, I'm still standing.
Right.
The family hasn't stopped. The ability to learn, our ability to come together, our ability to share with one another, all of those things still continue to go on. The other thing that I found motivating about this time of year is the start of the Christmas holiday season. Now, just so we clear, for those of you, because I made jokes about this last week, some of y'all I know had your Christmas tree up before Thanksgiving. That's funny as hell to me, but hey, to each his own. But what I will say about it is, once you see the Christmas trees up and or the windows, and for those of you who are in New York or any major city where they decorate the windows, please go out
Yes.
and go see that stuff. It is
Yeah.
something very exciting and almost it's almost like a childlike quality you go back to when you get
Yeah.
an opportunity to see those things, because not only the decoration of the window but the creativity, the beauty of it all is something to behold. I had the ability to be down and around 34th Street. And as y'all know, New York is rebounding, in a real way, especially after
Yeah.
what's going on in the last, year and a half or so. So to see people out and to see Believe written across Macy's
Yeah.
and to see the windows down on Fifth Avenue. I work on Fifth Avenue and 59th Street, so they got this really nice big teddy bear and gifts around it, and it's glittery and it's nice, and a lot of these things are beautiful things to take pictures
Yep.
of. So then this way, you get inspired, and hopefully, you get a sense of the holiday and just a sense of, like I said, that child in you. Please don't
Right.
lose that. Too many of us are losing that as well. I get it. I'm grown now. I want to put away this, and I don't want to be that anymore. It's funny. We watch Toys R Us absolutely go out of business, and for those of us who are old enough to remember,
Yeah.
being a Toys R Us kid was everything. You
Everything. You couldn't wait to
couldn't.
get the catalog. Somebody just said that to me the other day. They were like, yo, you couldn't wait to get the catalog and pick out your toys, what you were going to put on the list. I just heard, okay, so maybe this is motivating for you Christmas celebrators. I heard you can now send Santa, the kids can send Santa their list digitally through a text, which is like, okay, I get it, but again, it takes away that sense of like wonder that we really enjoyed for Christmas when we were kids, when you went to Macy's to go take pictures with Santa Claus, when you went to go see the windows, Saks Fifth Avenue windows, 59, like Fifth Avenue, all of Fifth Avenue is lit up.
Yes.
And I was just saying last week, what the heck? That, oh man.
Okay, I don't know what happened. We lost Bernadette again. But, again, to make, everybody laugh, something she just said about, the digitizing of sending Santa, your Christmas list. Now, all of you are familiar with this because you've either seen the old version or the new version. Miracle on 34th Street happens to be one of my absolute favorite movies. Like,
Yes.
I got to watch that at least 7 times between now and New Year's, just
Yes.
for no real apparent reason. Both the old and the new one, by the way.
Yes.
You just got to watch it
Toy
just because
soldiers.
the spirit of it. Toy soldiers,
Yeah.
and all of these things, again, just bring back a sense of your childhood and a sense of your youth first and foremost. But there's something also kind of magical about it in the sense that, yes, you're grown now and you know good and well that there's no such thing as Santa Claus and some of these things, but there is some magic to just still having that connection to your childhood, having that connection to your youth. When we look at the world as it stands currently, and thankfully we are in positions to obviously give our children the world and to put ourselves in position to do even amazing things for ourselves.
Yeah.
But it's still you still need to give yourself some sense of allowing your imagination to also play a part in some of this. And I think that that's lost when you start talking about and I was alluding to this, Bernadette, when we lost you, about being
Sorry.
able to text. I said, there was the good old fashioned writing of letters. Obviously we don't have that anymore. Probably a good portion of us, our grandchildren, send you a list via the various apps. You might get it on WhatsApp. You might even get a FaceTime. Hey,
Right.
want the Xbox? I need a pair
Right.
of Jordans. I'll take an iPad, an iPhone, and an iWatch. And
Or here's my Amazon list, because all the digital companies got with it. Here's the list. Y'all can just come to us. Tell us what you want. We're gonna send a list to Granny and Auntie and Uncle. They all gonna know what you want. You don't have to
and
say
it's
anything.
and it's amazing because again, like the world changes, and like I said, I'm happy that again most of us are in positions to be able to do amazing things for our children, for our grandchildren, and
Yes.
so on and so on. But I kind of smile about it because at the same time I'm still that uncle, or I'm still that big brother, or I'm still that dad. Look, I don't give a dag on how big a list you get me. You only get one thing off the damn list. So all that extra stuff is for your own
Especially,
enjoyment.
it's a one or the other. Motivation Monday. Here's the options. You get a couple of the small things or one big thing, but you don't get
All
them all.
you're not getting all of this. First of all, I'm not even sure you're doing good in school like you're supposed to. Now, we got to
Let's
start
give
with
me
that
that
because
digital report card, because that's
okay,
digital
let's
too. Send
let's
that
see what
with the
happens.
Christmas list.
We gotta have this one-on-one Zoom with your teacher and see how that's holding up. You understand what I'm
Exactly.
saying? You
Be
know,
like, this
so
Christmas list, that's the
it's,
Xbox, that's a negative. And
yeah, that's not adding up. The, this
iPhone, that's a
this C
no.
this C average and a pair of Jordans, that's going to be a strong no. That
No.
we just want to check that off. We want you to
Negative.
understand. You might you might rebound next quarter. I don't even know if you can
Exactly.
get it then, but hey, that's look,
No,
you
but I
start heading
wish
towards
you.
the situation, But no, but all of these things, like I said, could be motivating because, in all fairness, what it does is it gives you an opportunity to not only challenge, yourself, but to challenge your children too. We've gotten away from that, to
Yes.
some degree. We don't challenge ourselves and our children so much anymore like we were. My family and I, my brothers and I, we were talking about this. We were laughing because we were saying how, my nieces and nephews and, a lot of our grands, they don't have chores like we had. I'm not
Right.
saying everybody, but for the most part, these kids don't have chores like we had. We had
Right.
chores. We had real chores, doing the dishes, cleaning the bathroom, painting, doing the floors, all kind of real stuff, doing laundry. These kids don't have that. And it shows in some ways in
The
terms of
work ethic.
how they carry themselves and their
Yeah.
work ethic. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And we have to, I think, in a real sense, kind of get back to that because what happens is when your kids aren't well rounded, as some of us are, and again, you only know this by virtue of what people have said about you to your parents.
Right.
So for those of you who still have your parents here, there's nothing better than when you get one of those glowing reports and Miss Such and Such said, I had a
Right.
chance to talk to Bernadette. She's absolutely amazing. She's grown into such a beautiful woman, blah, 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 blah. And you feel good because as a parent, that's really
Right.
what your job is.
Right.
Yeah, it's your job to provide, and it's your job to make sure that, they got a roof for their head. But to really be honest with you, our greatest accomplishment for those of us who are parents is trying to make other productive um, people.
Human
That's
beings.
really what
Exactly.
that's really the most, amazing thing that you could do. And to be honest with you, I get it. Some of y'all are directors and managers and presidents and VPs, but that's not really what your greatest accomplishment is. Your greatest accomplishment is them little rugrats that hang out in your house and eat for free right now if they're not in a space to do so. That's really your greatest accomplishment. And you only know that and you only agree to it when you see them doing the right thing.
Right.
Sometimes if they're not doing the right thing, then you kind of dismiss them altogether. I don't know these kids. These people in the
Exactly.
back.
F them
I don't
kids. What
know
did
them.
we say?
You know my motto. F them kids. But tonight, like I said, we're trying to keep this thing motivated.
Motivated.
I want people to feel good about what we're talking about. So we're in the spirit of the holidays and some of the beautiful things, like I said, that go along with this time of year. You couple that with there's also a lot of traveling goes on during this time of year. Hopefully, some of you guys are motivated by that. If you're having the opportunity to travel, and please, I know, yes, COVID is still out there, and they got a new strain, and blah 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 and blah blah blah. But as I've been talking about on the various platforms that I've been on, in case y'all aren't noticing, it doesn't say that people are dying. It just says such and such caught COVID. Then they say, okay, that person has gone on to do whatever. So
Right.
get your immune system up. That's first and foremost. And then
Yep.
secondly, just find places and things that you can go to and or be a part of that maybe don't have the crowds like, we've become accustomed to. There's nothing wrong with a small group of people getting together and
Having
enjoying,
a good
a
time.
feast or
Yeah.
something like that versus, trying to be back in the mega mix like we were prior to, what was going on with the world. And let's
Right.
be clear, the world is not going to change anytime soon.
Right.
Some of this behavior, some of these ideologies are going to be with us for a nice long time.
Yeah.
So get used to them. Stop trying to beat yourself up. Be like, but it's not fair. There's nothing you can do about that. What you
Right.
can do is just stay motivated in your own way and use that motivation to motivate others.
Yes.
This, you know what I'm
Agreed.
saying?
Agreed, Amir. Let me piggyback on that. Not just only stay motivated, guys. I want you guys to stay open to giving and back and to doing for others. And I'm going to share a story. It's more funny because I survived it more than the what actually came out of it. So I was in ATL, and last week, I don't know if anybody had saw in the news that a gun had gone off in the airport, and everything was just. So what happened is a passenger had taken a gun in his bag. They noticed it going through the thing, and when they tried to check him on it, he tried to pull it out of the bag. And I guess try to run. At this point, I'm like, this is ridiculous. All of it is, but him trying to do that discharged the weapon, and so it set off kind of like this frenzy at the airport. Now I wasn't there because I wasn't traveling until later. So that set everything back. So, I'm flying JetBlue. It's long lines everywhere. I'm like, I'm not. Everybody's like, we're not going to make our flights, but everything was just a disarray. So in these situations, we've talked about traveling. I try to stay super calm. There was a lady who was behind me. She's like, oh my God, I'm going to miss my flight. I'm like, you'll be okay. Don't worry about it. I was like, trust me, they know there's delays. I'm just trying to like keep her calm because I get it. And so we get to the counter and they changed where my plane was. So I was at C concourse and they sent us to D concourse, but they didn't exactly tell me where. So I'm standing there and I'm like, holy crap, I'm gonna miss my flight, whatever. There's a man sitting in a wheelchair and he's yelling for the lady at the counter. He's like, could somebody please take me? He was supposed to be at the gate that I was headed to, but nobody's paying him any mind. Nobody's talking to him. And he's dying of cancer. And so, how they are in that state, they're like pasty white, they're pretty emaciated, so he's just like miserable. I don't blame him. I'm miserable and there's nothing wrong with my ass. So I'm like, I definitely understand where he's coming from. So as he's going back and forth, he's like, JetBlue doesn't care about disabled people. I'm like, okay, sir.
Yeah.
He's like yelling at the top of his lungs. So I'm like, sir, wait. I was like, so the lady said, we called for somebody to come and get you for transport. I said, listen, he's like, they're going to leave us. Like, he's in a frenzy. I'm in a frenzy. Now, mind you, I have my suitcase. I have a couple of bags. I'm like, what's your name, sir? He's like, my name is Ed. I said, Ed, grab this bag right here. We're about to make this flight. So are we booking ass? I'm thinking she said it's the gate C. I went to gate B. We only have like 5 minutes. So he's in a wheelchair. You know those wheelchairs that TSA that you have to hold the thing? All I'm thinking is don't snap this button because this man is gonna go fly.
No, but you're doing the best you can.
So we're hustling. We get to the gate. Amir, I almost was like, call 911. I was just like done. Like I'm running. But he was in such a state, I couldn't imagine myself leaving him there. Gotcha. And even though all of it was inconvenient for me, I could have very easily just grabbed my stuff. In my head, I'm like, that could have been my mother. That could have been my dad. That could have been my uncle, my brother. And there was no way I'm leaving this man here in this state. So long story short of it, once we get to the gate, he's a little more calm. I'm a little more calm. Our flight's not there yet. He starts talking to me and he's like, he's talking about energy. He sees my beads and he's like, he makes energy bracelets. He says he's an energist. He said, you wouldn't be able to tell. I'm like, no, not what you yelling. They don't care about this. But I'm sitting your frustration. So it was all hysterical. But I said, I felt so much better knowing that he was there. And so my whole point in all of this is sometimes we're going to stretch ourselves in a way that's uncomfortable for us. But if you see somebody in need, help them, please. It could be you. And that's how I always look at it. So, I want to keep y'all motivated with that. One kind act this week. One kind act for one person, guys. Just one thoughtful thing, whether it's picking up a cup of coffee for somebody on the way to the job or whatever. Just do one kind act this week. That's what I'm going to ask for you guys for Motivation Monday.
Now that is, first of all, that's an absolutely amazing story. So kudos to you. No, you don't understand. No, as crazy as it sounds, and it went. The reality of it all is a couple of things. First off, you have no idea what impact that's going to have on that man going forward. You understand what I'm saying? Whether you exchange pleasantries or not, that man will look at that situation and go, there was one person who was kind enough to pay attention to me.
Yeah.
Make sure or ensure that I was, in a position to still do what I needed to do.
Yeah.
And we don't, most times we don't really understand the impact of that because as men and women, we're so caught up in what we're going through. I send all of these, wonderful memes and things that I see, from time to time to, some of the beautiful people who are, watching our show this evening and, just as they come across me. But I send those to you guys because those are words that I live by and those are words that I believe in and things that that I think are very important in terms of us being able to truly get the most out of life that we're supposed to. And that comes from service. from a
Yep.
biblical standpoint, especially those of you who, go to church and stuff like that, as I always say, the most godly like thing you can do is help somebody. It's not
Help
go read a book.
somebody.
It's not go to a building or a mosque or a synagogue or anything like that. It's help somebody. But when you do that, you open up a bank account with the universe that the dividends that it pays is incredible. So I always try to encourage people, as B Love just encouraged us to
Yeah.
kind things. Like I said, sometimes it's something as amazing as that. Sometimes it's just a text message. I hit one of my boys today who I knew was on uh one of the lives last week, but I didn't get a chance to say anything to him. And I just hit him, "Hey, I'm checking up on you, bro. Hope all is well with you and the family." Hit me back. He said, "Bruh, I appreciate you, man, a lot." But y'all have no idea because everybody is dealing with something. Whether
Right.
we're actually acknowledging it, talking about it, saying it, that's one thing. But people are dealing with all kinds of interesting things. And we
Right.
all think that in the moment, whatever it is we're dealing with is way more crazy than what you're dealing with.
Yes.
But that's to us. So you got
Yes.
to take that into consideration. Please be a little more patient with your friends and family.
Yeah,
Please
please.
understand that none of this is personal because some of us
Yes.
take stuff personal. Oh, you didn't hit me back. You don't know what that person might be really dealing
Exactly.
with. They have things on their plate too. They're trying to get their plate clear so that this way, when they do speak to you, hopefully they can give you their undivided attention.
Exactly.
I,
So
I,
true.
I share that. We also had some homework last week. I'm not sure how many of you had the opportunity to do either of these two things, but Talent mentioned True Story, which stars Kevin Hart
Yes.
and Wesley Snipes, as well as some other people. Incredible, incredible story. And I actually had the opportunity to finally see The Harder They Fall. Now, I'm only
Okay.
bringing these two things into the conversation because, again, with Motivation Monday, the thing that I'm taking away, because I don't want to give away any of the storylines to either of those two things, if anybody hasn't seen them,
Right.
is it's great to see great storytelling again, and it's great to see great acting coming back. Don't get me
Yes.
wrong. I understand we've become a what they call these daggone shows, reality shows that don't really be reality.
Exactly.
Have taken over. But to see great writing again, and to see great acting, and to see great storylines, and to see people truly pour in. If you haven't checked out either of those two story or either of those two things yet, please do yourself a favor. They are an absolute treat. They're
Yes.
dynamite. And I think you may actually take away not only some nuggets from it, but you may find that there's some things that, are similar to possibly things that have gone on in your life. And the
Yep.
one thing that I always like to, think about is when I'm watching movies and or stories, is how those things pertain to moments that have gone on in my life
Yep.
and whether or not I was able to get past or through those things, or am I motivated by what their version of how you get through and past those things. So again, I
Yes.
look at everything as a way to be motivated. I'm not sure, like I said, if you've seen those two projects, B, but if you
I
have, please,
did. I
talk about
did. And they actually they were both like impressive. To your point, it's not only great to see great writing, but great black acting, because in the past I've struggled sometimes with some of the actors that we have, because when I think of great acting, right, I think of like Charlize Theron in Monster, where you have this beautiful blonde woman, you know what I'm saying, who's been transformed into this like serial killer that doesn't look anything like her and actually acted it out. Real situations where people have transformed themselves. So we've been so far removed from that, to your point, with the reality crap, with just not even some great writing sometimes. And now to see some good stuff on there, and you're right to see it, mirror in life, because, here we are wrapping up a year. We just, not just, we out of COVID, but not, you know what I mean? It kind of feels like life is getting back to normal, but it isn't. And so, when you think about the content that you're taking in, because we're about to be sitting down again, it's about to get cold, nobody's going to be going out, last year to this year. So these streaming companies knew that they needed the content. They knew that, whether we were going to sit down for a long amount of time, or well, they couldn't wait to get this new content out. They couldn't wait to get it on the streaming channels. And when you look at it, a lot of it is reflective of what people have been going through in COVID. So when you look at this year, it's like it's time to take stock of your life. When we talk about Motivation Monday today, I kind of sat down, mapped some stuff out, and I do that, you know what I mean, to keep myself motivated to stay on my goals and make sure that I'm meeting the things that I lay out for myself. When you look at certain movies like, the Kevin Hart story, and I don't want to give it away, but Family Dynamics, which I've talked about before in LGO Real Talks. And it's like, this idea of, that family can kind of treat you or mistreat you or do what they want because, they're family. Sometimes it's time to take stock and really take a look at, who's around you, who helps you grow, who helps you build, who keeps you, you know what I'm saying, grinding, who keeps you motivated. Telling in Amir Motivated Monday, this keeps me motivated. You know what I mean? At 6 o'clock after I've hustled, I'm like, let me hear what these guys have to say. What keeps them motivated? So tomorrow I'm doing it again. We have to be a part of that every day. And I know you guys do it for us because you keep me motivated when, I'm on my lives, these lives, and you talking to us. But, we have to really start taking a stock of who's around us and what we're doing and what keeps us motivated and what we're doing. To not only keep ourselves motivated, but to keep other people motivated.
You touched on a few good things in what you just shared, and one of the things that you touched on was, like you said, family. Now, y'all heard me last week mention, my very good friend Gary Stevens, aka Spank, and what he had gone through in
Mm-hmm.
terms of losing his mother-in-law, and he sums it up best. He always says, the other F word, family and friends. I will leave it at that because if you haven't seen True Story yet, once you see True Story, you'll understand why I say
Right.
family, the other F word, family and friends. So again, please check that out. Freda,
Yes.
thanks for putting that in the chat. Adrienne, I hope you were able to see what the thing is, and it's on Netflix. Both of these, by the way, are on Netflix.
Yes.
But the other thing that you touched on, which I think is pretty pertinent as well, is the whole idea of, and this is what I usually do. This time of year is the one time of year where I really do try to take stock of the entire year. So I try to look at things that happen in the beginning of the year.
Right.
I try to look at things that happen in the middle of the year. I try to look
Right.
at things that are happening right now. And the one thing that I can say, or the one thing that I'm hoping that you all guys are all doing, start to document stuff. And when I say document stuff, I mean take pictures so that then this way it can trigger
Yep.
whatever memories are necessary to remember what was going on in those moments.
Yes.
They don't always have to be, pictures of food or pictures of where you traveled to and things like that. I'm
Right.
talking about pictures that just allow you to go, oh snap, I forgot that, I was a part of this, or I forgot that I was a part of that.
Right.
The month of this particular month, like I said, is always such an amazing month to me. I mean, and we may have some Sages, on our live, here now.
Yes. Sad
Sag season,
season.
Sag season is pretty incredible. Yesterday, I think, or the day before, was Red Alert's birthday.
Okay.
Another very good friend of the family, somebody whom I admire. But I bring all of this up because this time of year is that one time that, like I said, you hopefully truly just start to really take stock of everything.
Right.
I can honestly see the growth not only in myself but in each and every one of you because you guys have been on this journey with me since the beginning. When I
Yes.
first, got on this whole IG Live thing because I had no idea what IG Live was and or whether or not I should be a part of it, I really was getting on as I have always done to support the people who I already saw on here doing multiple
Big
things.
things. Right.
But from it has grown my opportunity to not only be on, hosting this show with talent and hosting the show that we have on Fridays, and then our pop up show with the lovely V Love,
Minaj.
Minaj. I've also been on her show, LGL Real Talk. My
Yep.
boy Bill Foster, I'm not sure if he's tuning in tonight. He has a show, his show. I've been on his show, two of his shows that he does during the week called Real Talk on Facebook. But I bring all of that up because it's also given me the opportunity to meet and become a part of other people who I have always looked up to and admired. Rodney Perry, Mike Sean, JP Justice. The list goes on and on and on. But what happens is once you kind of get yourself in that energy of understanding that your purpose, whatever that may be, and sharing it with the
Amir, you
world.
there? Did you
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm still here. I can hear you, beloved. Once you start sharing it with the world,
Amir?
the universe starts bringing all of
I think
those
we may
other
have
pieces
just
together. I'm still here
lost
with you,
Amir.
beloved.
I'm not sure.
We're here
Sorry,
with you,
guys.
beloved.
Every time I get a call or something comes in, it
It
kind of
blows.
triggers.
You'll come back
I
to us.
wind up getting lost. So,
So
but as Amir was saying, this time of year triggers so many things, so many emotions, so many feelings. And Sag season, I think he was talking about red alert.
yes. Can
We're
you hear
still
me,
in the same
beloved?
place.
Beloved, we done lost her. P, pull out and bring it back in for me. There you go. As I was saying, so when you start to live in your purpose, whatever that purpose may be, and as I said this on other lives, everybody's purpose is different. Some of y'all may be absolutely phenomenal designers. Some of y'all may be absolutely phenomenal chefs. Some of y'all may be just creative in all kinds of amazing ways. It behooves you to share that with the world because your vision and what you see and what you bring to the world is so dynamic and so specialized for you, which is why you're here. So when you bring that to the world, what it does is it allows the world to send out that beacon to the rest of the world so that those people who fall along the lines of who you are and what you're about, they become connected to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not by accident that we all are, on these lives together because, in all fairness, a lot of the things that we talk about, we all have some of the same ideologies. We
Yep.
have some different twists and turns when it comes to the definitive how we see it, but that's also because we've all been on different journeys. We all haven't been on the same journeys, which is what makes this beautiful and
Yep.
why it's so important to, bring those dynamics to the forefront. Because when you do, then people have an opportunity to possibly see it from a perspective that they think to themselves, you know what, I hadn't even
Us.
thought about that, or I hadn't even said to myself, like, wow, that's possible. But once you figure out and you start seeing how possible these things are and what they do and what it brings to the table, it changes everything else, which is super important in
Right.
terms of the continuous growth of us all. Because what we're doing is feeding and sowing into each other. So we pour into each other, we sow those seeds, and then we watch those things grow in one another, and we feed off of it
Yep.
because now we have a community.
Yep.
And that's what this is about. It's about building communities that you now can utilize one another for various reasons. Today, B Love can tell you, I got the call, it was audible. Look, bro, we got the show today. I'm calling B Love. It's audible. But I share this with you because I don't have anything to hide. B Love knows. We
Yep.
rock and roll on screen, we rock and roll off screen, but that
Yep.
has to also do with building that trust and building those relationships.
Yep.
Everything in the world is really about relationships. Yes,
Absolutely.
you're going to get to the top by doing this or by doing that. But really, what's going to get you to the top is building these solid relationships with people who believe in you. They
Yep.
can't necessarily see and understand your dream because it's your dream,
Right.
but they can support it because they understand that your journey is similar to their journey. And that's
Exactly.
important. So we really have to understand that the gifts really come from, okay, y'all, what you got going on over there? What's
Yes.
great with you? How can I be helpful to you? And like I said, all things matter. Text messages, phone calls,
Yep.
hanging out. Be loved. She been on the what you call it tour the last month or so. Pop-ups. I'm in Florida. I'm in Atlanta. No, but the beauty of it is you've been popping up and the support is there because like I
Yeah,
said, that matters. And
it
you've been getting a
does.
chance to meet team members or meet some of the people in this community as you've made these trips. That's
Yes.
important, y'all, because what happens is again, now that you've met the person and you understand and really, have had a chance to bond. Y'all
Yes.
may or may not have seen this. B Love's probably not going to talk about this, but I'm going to talk about it. She did a voiceover skit with Derek. What's his name? Derek
Nicholson.
Nicholson. I saw it, guys. It's funny as hell. It is hilarious. But I want to give you your props because it's dope. No, look,
Thank you.
but that's what I'm saying. You're stepping out of your comfort. Look, Y'all have no idea what it
Definitely.
means to step out of your comfort zone. Like I said, it is not easy when
Definitely.
you start finding yourself doing things that you aren't sure whether or not you can do. I've had the pleasure of the comedic world saying to me, they like, Amir, we rock with you now, bro, because you have comedic timing. You probably could do, stand up. I can't do it because I can't stand in front of people like that, but that's speaking for me. But I appreciate them giving me that nod and that confidence by saying they at least understand and are, privy to my energy and what I try to bring to the table. And it's not, that I'm trying to out shine anybody. It's not that I'm trying to outword anybody.
Right.
Like I said, have been fortunate and blessed enough to grow up in a household where my mother and father encouraged us to speak.
Right.
And I try to utilize that still in this day and age because I realize the best thing that we can do is communicate to one another.
Right.
Miscommunication leads to all kinds of other craziness, and that is
Yes.
how you not only become unmotivated, but things devastatingly fall apart, and you're trying to figure out how and why. That's
Agreed.
imperative that we really work on how we communicate. And here's the thing: we talk about this. B Love can tell you we've talked about it on her show extensively. Yes, like I said, everybody loves the ideology of just tell me the truth. But like I said, you got to be,
Everybody can't
and
handle
I'm
it.
gonna put the disclaimer out here: know your personnel, because everybody can't handle the truth.
That is so true.
Some people you're gonna have to hit with the crossover. Keep it
Right.
pushing. Not
Right.
because you don't what you call it respect them, but you have to know that it can lead to other things that you may not need. As you leave
Yep.
2021 and go into 2022, you want to go into it with a
Yeah.
positive
Yeah.
ideology. You want to go into it with positive energy, and you
Yes.
want to make sure that you're doing everything you can to build your brand and/or, like I said, help build the brands of others because
Yes.
like I said, she's living proof of it. I'm living proof of it. I would have never thought that I'd be holding court like I'm holding court with y'all. I mean that
Exactly.
humbly. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And
So
we're so grateful. It's so funny, Amir. I am so grateful. And I know as a listener, before I was even on a live with you guys, just listening to you guys, I was so grateful because you were basically, doing what it is I wanted to do, was just to be on here talking as if you were talking on your living room sofa. Like that's how my, show, because everything doesn't have to be intentional, confrontational, and I have to be right. And sometimes you can just really talk things out and just agree to disagree sometimes and say, you know what, that ain't for me, but you rock your show. You know what I mean? And we've come to a place, especially now, where it's like my way or the highway, or it has to be a right or a wrong. We talk men, women issues all the time. And, we always try to pull it from all different perspectives, simply because, and that's when it comes to family, when it comes to work, we all struggle, with all of these things. So being able to come on here and talk about these things openly, is, I'm grateful to hear it from you guys. I'm grateful to be on the show. I'm like T calling an audible. I'm honored to be able to, you know what I'm saying, sit in this seat every, on a Monday for him. I'm like, I love you guys. I met Alfreda, I love Marlene, I love all you guys, Adrian, you know what I'm saying? And as I meet these beautiful people, I'm like, I'm honored and I'm humbled. And, anything that I can do, whether it's talk about a topic that you guys want to tackle, whether it's bringing you on, whether it's coming on here, I am here for it. I'm down for it, because I believe the more we have these conversations, the more we interact, the more we continue to educate one another, communicate with one another, we are fostering better relationships. We're fostering open, and that's why when you say you're able to sit on, Miss Drew, I love you too. We're able to sit down with your nieces and nephews and be in awe, because we're doing this. They're seeing this from us, and we have to remember. Like for me, I'm the matriarch of my family. My grandmother's deceased, my mother's deceased, so that makes me the head of, my little tribe. And I'm like, I have to set the example for them. So staying motivated by making sure that they have what they need, because mom's jobs never end. Sorry, neither do dads. Parenting doesn't stop. You know what I mean?
No.
Making sure that they're following their dreams. I think if anything is frustrating for me, is like, why aren't you doing what you want to do? When you have parents who are willing to do anything to let you walk your path, but you're sitting around like, I don't know. Okay, there's something that comes with that. But being able to, you know what I'm saying, look at the blessings that we have and grow from them. That's what I do every week with you guys. We talk about this stuff. We growing from it. We're having the conversations. We're all a work in process. I love you, Marlene. You know, just being the best people we can be, so that we're in situations like last week where I could have been so frustrated by the fact that I was in my own space and been to hell with this man. I was like, yo, I just know, not for nothing, this is the funniest part. So I was flying standby. So I'm like, I hope this good D gets me on the flight. I hope this good D gets me on the flight. I hope
No,
this good D
trust
gets
and
me on
believe
the
it.
flight. And even though it was like, it didn't matter because I was glad that I did it. But I was just like, and on the other side of it, I'm like, B, you know that blessing, it comes somewhere else down the line, but I
Sure
got
enough,
on
does.
the flight. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, these little wins. And I think that's the other thing people don't understand when it comes to service. There may not be a big win. It may not be the big lottery win. You know what I'm saying? There may not be, but the little wins, just love and appreciate them because they are everything. Take the big ones matter, but those little ones, man, listen, you know, that those are the things that motivate me. So thank you for having me on here to be able to share this because it matters. You
I,
know, it
I
matters.
I can't express that enough, and I'll take it a step further. To me, there's no such thing as a little win. I know that sometimes we put that in perspective because for us, we have been duped into believing that our wording, has these magical powers, and it does. But the reason why I say there's no such thing as a little win is because I'm sure each and every person who's on this live right now and who will look at this live somewhere down the line could think of a moment where something, the slightest, smallest thing happened. But when
Mm-hmm.
I say it was a heck of a miracle in that moment, so it actually was a big win. All wins are big. It's just
Yes.
your perspective of them. And we
Yes.
have to take on the ideology of making all things seem big and
Big
making
win.
all things seem normalized, meaning when you win, you win. It's
Right.
not a big win, it's not a small win. A win is a win.
Yeah.
And I hope that, some of what we're sharing with you guys is motivating you along those lines. Something else that I want to address, and this is something that I have to address even in myself. So this is why I'm bringing it to the table, and I hope this is motivating for some of you.
Okay.
There is not a time when I get on here that I'm not scared. Just so we
Mm.
clear, it's not a time when I get on here that I'm not scared. I may come across as very confident to a lot of you guys, and you hear my words and say, "Well, Amir speaks eloquently," and he always has, like you said, I've been dubbed the jeweler, by other situations that I've also been a part of. But I will say this: that's a fear that I battle every single solitary time that I get on a live, believe it or not. And the reason why I battle it every time I get on a live is because I realize in order to motivate yourself, in order to get to wherever it is you want to go,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have to go through something.
Right.
Sometimes the toughest thing that we have to go through is our own mind, believe it or not. You
Yes.
might think that, what you believe other people that say about you messes with you, but nobody's harder on you than you are. So I just encourage each and every one of y'all to please not beat yourselves up so much. Do what you can to, again, look for the incremental growth that you have in yourself, because each and every one of us has had incremental growth. Trust me, from the beginning of this foolishness to
Yeah.
where we are now. I'm
Yeah.
calling it foolishness because at some point we'll look back at this, could be another 30 years from now, whatever. You're going to be like, remember 2020?
That
Boy,
was
oh boy, was
nuts,
that
right?
crazy.
It was
Exactly.
nuts.
But as it stands right now, we're looking at it, and it's still like Bernadette said, we're coming out of it, but it still has a little bit of a hold on us,
Impact.
and because it has a little, still has a little bit of a hold on us, we're trying to, it's like trying to figure out how to get in the dance. But I think all of us are dancing in the rain quite wonderfully. I see each and every one of you. Like I said, the comments in the on the various lives, whether it's even the sports talk show, because a lot of you tune into the sports talk show too. So that's what I'm saying. Y'all have no idea how motivating you guys are. I meant to
Yeah.
thank y'all last week because you talk about
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, and the one thing that I have to say is I'm thankful for each and every one of you guys
Me
because
too.
y'all are the reason why I'm motivated to do this every week because you get on here, you say wonderful things in the comments, and as B Love said, you also give us wonderful things to even talk about and or to ping off of one another,
Yep.
and that is truly, truly just as powerful as any of the things that y'all see us doing. So
Yes.
please, I encourage each and every one of y'all to continue to tune in, continue to put the funny things in the chat, regardless to whether or not they have to do with the topic or you're sidebarring, because all of it contributes to the energy of the shows. It
Yes.
contributes to each and every one of us because when you go back and you watch them later and you read those comments, you really are touched and humbled by some of the things that you guys say. I know I am most certainly,
Yeah. Me
by a lot of
too.
things I say. So like I said, I can't, tell y'all enough how much I appreciate you guys. But I also, want to just take this time, like I said, to, again, encourage each and every one of y'all. I know some of y'all got some dynamic stuff that y'all doing.
Mm-hmm.
Just bring it to the world.
Yeah,
There's no such
exactly.
thing as perfect. When I started in this, I really, really didn't have an idea what this was going to be. I truly was just like, you know what? I get on here and do some, talking every now and again, and that'll be that. And then I looked up and I started getting requests. Amir, could you jump on this? Or can you jump on that? And I was like, people really want to hear what I have to
I
say?
know, right?
But it lends to in all fairness, beloved, it lends to let you know that not only do your words have power, but like I said, there is a synergy and an energy to what we're doing. And that's why I said, please, y'all, figure out what that is for you. It doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily have to be speaking. You could be a great poet. You could be like I said, you could be a tremendous chef. It doesn't make a difference. Look, if you start a line where you got the best sweet potato pies or the best cakes in the world, and all it takes is one person to, catch it. Y'all, the one thing that's amazing about this world now is going viral can be scary and amazing all at the same darn
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So
You
like
have to
bugged
be
out to
ready
me.
for it.
You
Well,
know what
you
I
have
mean?
to be ready for it. And I think a lot of people, aren't really ready for it, but that shouldn't stop you from taking a chance. And, I want to piggyback on Amir. I just want to say for all of the beautiful ladies that I have met on this since I started this, through talent or, however you got pulled in, I am so like, to be amongst beautiful women, one of the biggest challenges being a woman sometimes is being around other women, because other women who don't always, LGL, don't know their worth, feel threatened by being around other beautiful women. Miss Drew, Adrian, Marlene. I've been around these women. Not only are they beautiful in their appearance, their presence, their spirit, and how they get down. I just want to say thank you, ladies, for encouraging me to just, you know what I mean, keep my energy and don't be all like, with guards up. Just bring your right energy and be open to it. And you ladies do such a phenomenal job of that. So thank you so much. I see your comments. I see everything. I love you guys too. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Amir. I will, and talent. I don't even know. I can't say enough words, about T. I give him his flowers all the time, but I'm just like, somebody like that who just, again, embraces us in a way where he's like, he believes in what we have to say and allows us to have this platform. That's what I'm saying, you guys. Like, every one of us has the power to do something for someone else, to give them an opportunity to do something kind. Just, you know what I'm saying? And this is hopefully what we're doing, motivating. I'm motivating this week is to do something kind for someone else, whether it's an opportunity, opening a door, helping somebody shut a window. And you guys know what that means. So, you know what I'm saying? Whatever that falls in line for you, there's somebody in your life right now that may have a need or want something. Do the damn thing. The blessings are so much. And so, I just thank you guys. And thank you, Amir. And thank you, Talent. I love you guys so much. I
No,
had to
no.
say that.
No, no. Like I said, you can't. We can't stress that enough. I mean, talent has bestowed this, this wonderful opportunity on us. We see him bestow it on, so many of
Yeah.
his colleagues and the people who he works with. And, quite frankly, the man just seemingly has an eye for talent, or he sees things that sometimes we may or may not see in ourselves. So,
Right.
big kudos and blessings to him. But from it, you see the blessings that, obviously talent has. He's been, touring all over the country. His shows
Yes.
have been selling out. His 30th anniversary has been rock star, if nothing short of rock star,
For
magnitude.
real.
And the thing about it is, he's still humbled in all of it. He's not
Yeah.
sitting up here with a big head. He doesn't, come away from this in any way, shape, or form to any of us as, somebody who's like, it's all about him. He really does believe in, trying to, give everything back and allow, like you said, us
Yes.
to have a platform as well. So, like you said, big ups to him. And to, again, what B Love said, help somebody, y'all. Look,
Yeah.
I can't stress that enough myself. I think there is something so magical about helping somebody. And even sometimes when you do it in a way that the person doesn't know, if you can.
Right.
Like, like you're at Walmart or Target or something, and maybe the person behind you or whatever, whatever, and you say, hey, I'm gonna pay for theirs or whatever. Or you see
Yes.
them charge up theirs and you're like, I got this, and you pay for it. And here's the thing, it
Yes.
doesn't necessarily need to be filmed.
Nope.
It needs to be
Done.
filmed in your head and in
Done.
your heart.
Exactly. It just
Because
needs to be
you
done.
you know that you did something for somebody.
Right.
Now, for those of you who live in the city like I do, I'm not talking about give to them raggedy people on the train. I'm not talking about them because
Right.
we know how that is. Even though I got a really fun story about that. So I'm going up to my sister's house for Thanksgiving, and we're on the train, and these three little kids. And when I say little, I think the oldest of them had to be like 10. So the three of them, they selling candy. So I'd say 10, 7, and 5, possibly.
Okay.
But the littlest one of them all, they selling candy. They're like, we're on the train selling candy. It's Thanksgiving, whatever. So me and my brother like, yo, let's give them $1, whatever. I didn't have any change, so I only had like a 2 5s and a 10. So I give the littlest one a 5.
Okay.
So he was like, wait, let me get you, let me get you some change. I said, nah, that's for you guys. I said, because good, bad, and
Yeah.
different. I hope that you guys are going home to have a wonderful, sit down with your families, hopefully. But if not, this is a way of thanking you guys and saying at least, you guys are trying to do something positive
Positive.
versus
Right.
negative. Because we got to encourage that in the youth as well and in our elders. Look,
Yeah.
negativity is everywhere, guys, and it's
Yep.
it's in all kind of formats, it's in all kind of weird ways and shapes. But you have to recognize it, and the only way to fight negativity is with love.
Right.
Look, I know, I know some of you are gonna be like, no. The only way to fight negativity is with love. And I know some of y'all will go, but I'm still getting punched in the face. That I didn't say be stupid. I said fight negativity with love. It's a big
Right.
difference.
Right.
So you got to figure out whether this situation requires you utilizing common sense and your ability to love, which is bigger and stronger than anything else on the planet,
Yes.
versus physical abuse and or mental abuse, where you know that that's something that you have to physically remove yourself from and protect yourself. Those are,
Right.
two different situations. But again, just encourage everybody, love on one another,
Yes.
supporting
Please.
each other, uh, be love, LGL Real Talk. Y'all support our show. Y'all come on there. Continue to give her
Yes.
wonderful topics to talk about. I didn't realize, be honest with you, B, I didn't realize how many times I've been on there. I went back and was looking through. I was like, dang, I was on there.
Exactly. You're like a real co-host. I remember the
But
first time you were on, and I was like, Amir, if you want to be like you were like, I'll come on whenever I can. I'm like, all
yeah,
the time, all the
but
time.
I look back and I was so happy, like I said, with the growth in your show. And
Yeah.
somebody put in here, they said, seeing the growth of both of us, throughout the
Yes.
year and
Thanks,
where we are now.
Marlene.
I think I'm humbled and thankful, like I said, to
Me
each and
too.
every one of you, because you guys, like I said, motivate me by giving me the idea to, it's Monday. Let me see what I could say today that's going to hopefully change somebody's life. Hopefully, put that battery in somebody's back and help them start doing whatever it is they need to do to move forward
Yes.
in their space and in their life. So I thank each and every one of you as always. I
Thank
thank
you,
my
guys.
co-host this evening, B Love,
Thank you,
LGL
Amir.
Real Talk. Bernadette, please give them some words of encouragement and let them know how they can find you and check out your show.
Well,
So
first of
this
all,
way we have it.
okay, everybody who's on here has been on here. If you haven't, thank you so much. I'm at LGL Real Talk on Instagram. We meet every Wednesday at 6 o'clock. And then we have a new talk, Real Love Talks with B Love and guest host, one-on-one conversations with our men every Thursday at 6 o'clock. So, guys, we have a double header this week. Make sure you're there. Are you ready for love? Are you ready for love? Because we all ask for it. Are we ready for it when we get it? I don't know. So let's talk about it. Make sure you meet me there. Thank you all so much again. Until I see you guys, stay blessed. Amir, thank you so much.
Hey, this is your boy A-Rock Sealy, aka Amir Sealy. Y'all know me, A-Rock Sealy on IG, and I'm Amir Sealy on everything else, Twitter,
The
Facebook.
Jula.
This is Motivational Monday. I hope we got your week off to a phenomenal start.
Yes.
Hey, as I tell y'all every week, it's nice to be important, but it's much more important to be nice. Take that with you. Utilize that in your everyday life. You'll see doors opening for you that you can't even begin to imagine.
Yes.
Stay humble, love on one another, check on one another, and we'll see you on Friday for Race Debaters.
Yes.
See you
See you
then.
guys soon. Bye, guys. Stay blessed.
Good night.
Amir.